All right, welcome to round three of the Niger Delta Games 2026. This is the singles event of the Scrabble tournament. On your screens, we have Pereowei from Bayelsa going against Clinton from Edo State. All right, saying really quick paper of YOWE for Pereowei, leaving O, Q, and A. The first blank of this round on Clinton's rack, we see YOTDUN blank. I'm unsure if they on this turn. Personally, I'm not seeing anything yet. Okay, happens to be auto dime. Should be in Yahweh. That would be a really nice find. 86 points for his first turn if can find this bingo. And of course, very impressive find there. Auto dying for 86 points coming down, provided the blank is here. We can see Pereowei there nodding in confirmation there. It happens to. So very nice first move play there from Clinton, and back to Pereowei there with QUAROBL. I'm sure he's happy to see the U with the Q he left earlier. And let's see what he comes up with. For anyone just joining, this is round two of the singles events of the Niger Delta Games 2026 in Edo State. It's happening live in Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. In the last game, we had Sophia from Delta State clinch a very lovely win against Brooklyn from Abia State. And I'm sure we'll be expecting nothing less from these two players on your screen. You see QUAY as the move there, scoring 32 points. And Clinton now with CONZART. I'm sure he's happy to see the Z. And if he can spot through his TROOZ through the O in Yahweh, that scores over 40 points and be a nice find there. But if not, there are still really nice and standard options. You could just go for CZ through the U Quay. I was seeing him go for runs instead. Still a solid option there, scoring pretty well. And it's back to Pereowei now with BOLRONL. Not a lot of inspiring options on this turn. At best, maybe Dublon should be Dean Auto Dine. BOBLON for 18 points to play out a lot of tiles in hopes of going into the bag and picking better tiles. And if he wants to keep things short, he could play OBOL underneath the Z. I think he's going for an exchange. That's an interesting choice. Choosing to score 0 on this turn. I think he could have even just gone for lob, LOB atop the O, the B, and the Y, or dying, or not or dying rather. But yeah, we're seeing going for an exchange, and now we're seeing a bingo here from Clinton. Uh, okay, yeah, two Canet, I believe, is the bingo played by Clinton and a challenge there from Pereowei. I think Clinton here is playing really, really impressive. Two Canet for 64, but with the extra 10 points from the challenge, it's going to be 74 points. It's going to take his scores to 195 to Pereowei's 52. And with the exchange from Pereowei in the last turn, I doubt you're going to be seeing a bingo still on this turn. I just need to confirm his tiles. That's going to be OVRTONA, I believe. Yeah, two O's, VTAN. Are unfortunately no bingo replies for Pereowei. The best you can do is maybe play Venator through the E in two Canet um, for 28 points, the highest you could possibly score on this turn. We can see he has spotted that and he's going for that. Clinton with really nice tiles there, EEGIMOS, no bingos right now, but he has very, very nice options if he wants to balance his tiles or score as much as possible. Oh, it's interesting to see that Pereowei took back the Veneto. Is he considering something else? I think you have to play out your V. Okay, he's going for just AVO instead, sacrificing a lot of points, but the leave of RONT is still understandable here. So Clinton with EEGIMOS, most likely now going to just balance his styles. He has so many options on this board. Could choose to be very defensive. He could just go with GUO at top Autodyne, forming GOED and OY for 7 points, leaving EIMS. Still keeping things a bit closed. He doesn't want, he would not want to open up an easy spot for his opponent right now. And if he wants to score as many tiles as possible, or as many points as possible, rather, I could go for win, WEEN, which is 24 points through the W in Yahweh, or MESNE looking quiz and WE through the N in runs. Has cost 34 points. Well, I think most likely we're going to see him just trying to balance his styles here. There's no need to rush. He has a 123 points lead, and it's still very, very early. So just to play out tiles here, balance his rack, and hope to bingo next turn seems to be the reasonable course of action here. Okay, saying go for Woe, reasonable option there, scoring 21 points, leaving GIMES. Doesn't open up too much for his opponent, although a 6-letter play there to the triple lane is something you might want to worry about. But I mean, 6-letter words are not exactly so easy to come by. So Woe there scoring 21 points, and it's back to Pereowei with FOUTRI and N. No bingos for him. Still has to balance his styles, and unfortunately, not a lot of inspiring options here. Um, I doubt he could even squeeze out 30 points on this turn. At best, maybe FOU underneath of the dime for 19 points, maybe RINT. There's still a lot of ease in the bag, and even no S's has been played by either opponent. So you might hope to pick those E's, the S's, or even the black. You can see him lining up the FOU. I'm sure he's considering that, and I think it has some merit. It still opens up another lane there. Um, for a seven-letter bingo, it is that FOU would book OFDO and Y. That seems pretty reasonable, but we can see him still taking his time, trying to figure out if there are better options. You could go for FUZE, maybe you're just scoring 16 points, leaving IURNC. He has the option of opt to OFT, should it see it or to die. That scores 21 points, leaving IUNRT. Still understandable if you want to grab, but personally, I think I'll just go for FOU and open up another spot. Okay, the same go for opt leaving RUIN. I think RUIN certainly isn't the best of these. This move doesn't do a lot for him. I mean, yes, it scores well, it scores 25 points, but it obstructs certain floaters. Well, let's see if it can be favorable as the game goes on. Clinton with ranges leaving M. We can see we could care less about trying to balance his style, going for the highest possible score he can get. 38 points, leaving 10. He knows there are still a lot of juices in the bag. The blank is there, the J, the K, the X, a bunch of S's too. So he's not worried about burning his S right now to score 38 points and extend his lead. Is already leading now with 160 points, if my math is correct. Is 254 points to Clinton's 90. Sorry, to Pereowei's 97 points. So I'm sure he's feeling pretty confident about playing a six-letter word here, burning his S and going to the back. Pereowei now having to suffer for the choices he made in the last turn, leaving RUIN. He has picked up another I, and the rest of the tiles are not, something he would be too excited about. His options are extremely limited. At best, maybe just play QUID, ADUI there, even HARIN looking to cash in on some point next turn, maybe. What other options are there? We can see him lining up HUIA, or I'm not sure there is anywhere inspiring for that to be put on the board. Yes, very limited options. Maybe AHI looking ZDA is something I might consider. We can see a bit of frustration in his face there, even with the face mask. He's giving a sigh of relief. Sorry, a sigh there. I'm pretty sure it's not relief. So, okay. Is swapping HUI. We saw a similar swap earlier in the game, and I think it's not advisable because you're leaving ANIR, which might think it's promising, but a lot could still go wrong. It's not like you're leaving blank E and S or something, but quickly you see Clinton play Cargo, leaving ANE, wasting no time. Cargo scores 27 points, one of the best plays he could make there. And would we finally be seeing a bingo from Pereowei? He has RNA and no space for the seven-letter board with the G floated. There is Virginia, drainage, and RD. So like that. So seeing going for drainage for 70 points. A reading or Gardenia would probably be advisable since you're trading so much and you want to open up a bets and it costs 2.5 above. Change for 70 is still understandable. I mean, what if you open up something for your opponent and then they are the first to play the nine timer? As we can see, Clinton has very, very good rap for such. So maybe drainage here would turn out to be the wise option for Pereowei. Okay. With the floating R in drainage, Clinton can play the word SEAM free, SEAMFREE for 72 points. If he's unable to spot that, through the D not to Daniel means DEMEANES. I'm sure a lot of people are um, aware of the spelling of DEMEANS, but it's also DEMEANES. And through the D in drainage, there's also in sync, also in sync. And the last bingo, if you could spot it, would be I binge to be wide of the time. All right, it seems to miss the bingos and is going for 35 points, leaving AEE blank, which I'm sure he's still feeling pretty confident about. Pereowei Bell, the X on the back, sure, will be hoping to do some damage with that. BROXCLT, yeah, I believe that's what it has. Still not so many options. Maybe we would want to retain the X for next turn or just play it out now and aim for a bingo. He has options like Botox to be owing or to dine. Seems pretty standard. Leave CLR and we could play calcs through the aim to connect. That would form locked to leading OBRT. So not a lot of crazy options, but I think it might be worth considering holding on to that X for one more turn, since the I in drainage there is a hotspot for the X later on. And since the X can score so much right now, maybe you would want to retain it for next turn. Just that, even at that, there are still not a lot of options for the rest of these tiles if you want to keep with the X. So this is going to be a pretty difficult turn for Pereowei, and we're seeing going for crab and obstructing that hotspot for his X. But I guess he wants to retain the only value he has and keep the X too. All right, Clinton, wasting no time, playing C8, most likely there. And at this point, it's going to be really, really difficult for Pereowei to make a comeback into this game. Clinton on 382 points to Pereowei's 175. That is a about 200 points margin. And funny how in the last game we saw a margin as wide as this too in the game against Rosalie. Yes, Sophia from Delta had a really, really nice game there with bingos and high scoring plays. And all through the game, she was just cruising to victory, and it's seeming like a similar pattern here for Clinton, as he has a pretty solid lead here. All right, Pereowei with TLERX, and still the X would not be yielding a lot of dividend for him. The address maybe just Knox or Dextro to the D in Autodyne. Or you could go for Redux to the R in Greenwich, scoring 30 points, but he leaves LLT now. You definitely not want to be keeping two L's on the T, but I mean, what can you possibly do on this turn? It's really difficult to see how we can navigate this game here and maybe try and reduce the margin or even steal the game from Clinton. Obviously, need a nine timer because with the remaining tiles, back to backs are seeming unlikely here. So, what exactly can he do? He still has 7 minutes on the clock. There are 31 on St. Tile, seven of them on Clinton's rack. So, that should be 24 tiles in the bag. Still a bit of hope, no matter how slim. Um, Maybe Xylol would be the move here through the Y in auto time leaving ERT. That just leaves the best possible tiles he can. Maybe hopes to bingo through the O in Evo or the W BJs and all that. So Xylo will play out both L's and the X, which is exactly what he would want on this turn. All right, the C lot was the move, and yeah, I like this play from Clinton. Shrink, scoring as much points, playing out the game as quickly as possible. Finally, might open up the feelings for his opponents, but it scores way too well and seems like a really nice path to victory here. Maybe something he would have preferred would have been monkish to the UM there, um, leaving that would have scored 45 points and opened up way less for his opponent. But shooting for 49 points seems still understandable there. Even with the reply of Helix here, Clinton is still very much poised to win this game. You can see us running to the J and atop the board there, the A enunciate there is going to be really juicy there for a J bomb. So sure Clinton is feeling pretty confident about this game. So updating the scores real quick. Felix was played for 46 points and Clinton is on 431 points to Pereowei's 242. All right, Jedi has come down there for 8, showing how things could have even completely J from to the range for 40 points, retaining the J, and I'm sure 40 points without using the J is something you might want to consider for a second. But yeah, Jedi here for 58 points, still really nice here for Clinton. You can see the tiles are not so favorable for Pereowei right now. ROLEIRA. See, just going for as much points as we can grab. top of the board there. So roll there for 29 points, giving AIR maybe just maybe one last chance for him to draw into a big goal and reduce the deficit as much as possible. See Clinton now with BFGLBID. With 3 tiles left on scene, you could choose to maybe just plump down the F somewhere, leaving GLIB for try and block the shrimp scoop any way you can. I think most likely he's going to try and block that opening and make sure that Pereowei doesn't have like a huge score there that would reduce the cumulative for Clinton. A very simple way to do that is just play IF, looking PI. That would still leave one tile in the bag, and that would be perfect for Clinton because even if Pereowei has a bingo somewhere else on the board, Clinton would still have a chance to play something and reduce the gap regardless. So you can see both players looking through the scores, trying to make sure the scores tally. But from my end, I can confirm all things being equal, Clinton should be on 489 to Pereowei's 271. I think this has been a really, really impressive game for Clinton because dying fine in the first move was a nice find there. And soon after finding Tukanet for 64 points, challenge then became 74 points too, was really nice. And it wasn't just about his bingo finds. I think when he played ranges for 38 points, just playing out 6 tiles, burning his S, and going into the back to play or to pick more tiles was a reasonable thought process there. And even the shrimp, even though it exposed the triple lane for shrimps, still shrimp for 49 points there, playing out a lot of tiles, and we saw it ended up being reasonable there because he came into the J that scored 58 points right after. So really nice play there from Clinton. And you're saying him go for 5 here. Maybe after tracking, it's not seeing any possible bingo for Pereowei from the unseen pool. And unfortunately, Pereowei did not even have the S to hook shrimp anyway. So yeah, 5 here would still be a advantageous play here for Clinton. Okay, I believe Clinton went, oh, sorry, Pereowei went for drip, scoring 28 points. And with GLIDPS, sure there are going to be a lot of scoring options for Clinton, and I believe he's going for Lisbo. Was that this? I doubt that is valid. Lisp would have been a reasonable option there for him to have played instead of this. So that would be challenged off the same mistake here from Clinton. But aside this, I think the rest of his plays have been very, very impressive to say the least. Unfortunately, still no cases to play out for Pereowei. He has Inya, but no space on the board for that. So he's going for IN. I had AMI to the M and shrink for 23 points. So he's going for just IN. Well, it probably wouldn't matter much. Yeah, we're seeing flips as the move from Clinton, but 3 points leading DG. And finally, I think Pereowei should be able to end the game with the AI left. We're seeing him go for Y for 14 points, and the final score would be Clinton's 552 to Pereowei's 331. A win for Edo State. We saw earlier in the game in the tournament, the first game played today was Philip Akagwe representing Edo State, who won against Prestige Archibong from Akwa Ibom. So 2 wins here on stream for Edo State, and it's been really impressive play from all players we've seen on stream. You can see an handshake there, a spirit of sportsmanship is being displayed here in the Niger Delta Games 2026. Make sure you stick around. Round 4 would be on the screen soon. I'm sure we'll most likely be seeing a game from the female category. The last game, we saw Sophia play really impressively against Roslyn from Abia State. So curious to see who would have next on stream from the female category. So make sure you stick around. I remain your commentator, Excel Oiwa, and I'll catch you soon.